go. 5 lights. And away we go. Edge on pole position. Off they go. And I see he's got a decent start there. Edge got a very good one. He's clear into turn 1. Into 3rd place by the looks of it goes Silver.
Oh, and there's a car off. It's stopped Thomas into the wall. He lost a bit of his front wing.
All sorts of fun and games going on into the fast chicane there. Rev. Oh, and OceanChief get together. And off goes Ocean into the wall. So Edge.
He's getting into the nose.
About a half a second ahead of Sergio. Sergio's running a little bit wide, hitting the wall on the inside. That was a big impact. I'm not sure whether it got any of the front wing. It looked like he might have been alright. Very close now. Copy having to go to the outside of Bams as they run through turn 8 absolutely side by side. And I think he might just have this sort of side by side on the exit. Going to be side by side, I think, all the way up towards the far chicane. Who's going to blink here? Bams on the outside, Copy on the inside. Bams. It is EGL once again at the Singapore Grand Prix in SLR Tier 1. It's round 15, maybe? 15, I think. Something like that, of the SLR Tier 1 Championship. And we are here in lovely, lovely Singapore. It is going to be a fun one today. I'm Terror Incognita. Alongside me very soon, when he's got himself some noodles, will be Thimo. But in the meantime, it's just me. We have 15 drivers on this racetrack. It is a fantastic racetrack. We were here a couple of weeks ago, of course, for the tournament, and apparently we're going to have some rain towards the end of the race as well. We know all about F1 2019. It really likes, it wants to advertise to everyone that it has rain in the game. So every single race we get rain, and this one is no exception. As we see Miloš Martika going out on the hard tyres. He's going to be qualifying, I guess, on the medium. Strategy is an interesting one for this race. Lots of people saying they don't like the soft tyres, particularly those who have overheating issues. So it might be medium to hard for those people. And we're going to see if anyone is going to be brave enough to do a 2-stop, which, if you can make it work, is pretty fast. So that's where we are. 16 minutes to go in the qualifying session. Some people still out. We have one reserve today. It's Mr. Furious, who, well, yeah, I don't know exactly what happened there. He's doing the big cautious coming. I guess he clipped the wall on the outside of that left-hander. That's the sling corner, so I would assume that was what happened. We have Triton in the Red Bull. Going to go through the final sector now, and we're going to follow Miloš on his first lap in the other Red Bull. He goes through this right-hander. Oh, very sideways through the right-hander. Now the DRS straight. Icewind on the left there, getting well out of the way, which is good to see as Miloš misses the apex of that left-hander and then gets a lot of oversteer on exit. Didn't see how much front wing he lost there. I can't imagine he lost none, but he certainly will have invalidated after that left-hander. And yeah, he's going to move well out of the way here for Light Cruiser, who I think we're going to pick up instead. He's going to go through the Anderson Bridge section a little bit sideways through there because he got a lot of curb. And around the very slow hairpin. Now, ooh, again, just the oversteer on exit as he heads into the next right-hander. No DRS on that straight, even though there was in real life. And then the very tight section towards the end. The right, the left, and then the left and the right as well. This corner is very tricky, very easy to catch the inside wall there. And through that right-hander, and too much curb there for Light Cruiser. He goes around, unfortunately for him. And instead, Bascodinho comes through. Bascodinho, though, looks like he is pitting. We have Pretorius, who has put in a lap in the Mercedes, a 1 minute 36.2 from Pretorius. So he is the first person to set any sort of a time. We have seen several people struggling a little bit. Slash LP on the hard tyres did do a qualifying lap, a 39.5. Very good lap from Bantz, though, in the Haas today. 1 minute 36.1. So Bantz on provisional pole for the time being on the soft tyres.
Wait, we're very early.
Hey, there we go. We're a little bit early. We're not very early. We're kind of early. Can you hear me, Thimo?
Hello?
Not sure Thimo can hear me. I can hear him, but I don't think he can hear me. So we'll see if he fixes it. I'm sure he'll work out at some point that the stream is live and I'm talking and he can't hear me, so he'll have to reconnect to Discord. In the meantime, we're going to see him. We're going to hear him in the background, I think.
No, hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hey, there we go.
We are like 5 minutes early today, aren't we?
Yeah, we have been for a few weeks. I think Ocean's keen to get things started on time.
Yeah, I didn't get the memo.
Okay, well, that's unfortunate. But, yeah, we've got some... Are you in the... You're not in the server yet, are you? Oh, you are? Okay, that's good.
And I know that I'm quiet.
Okay, that's good. Because, yeah, I was about to say you were quiet. Yeah, sound for Thimo is low. Yeah, he is for me as well. So we'll get that sorted out. We got Bailey Thompson on the hard tyres going around the last corner now. Very committed through there. He's going to go 4th on a 1 minute 37.8. So he doesn't want the soft tyres either, by the looks of things. Speed, he's done a 37.5. Sorry, Thimo.
Yeah, Triton had a very dangerous moment from what I've seen. It didn't look intended for me. He almost clouted into the wall on the final sector on his outlap, and there's 2 runners behind him. Are Bascadini and Lycris on laps? I hope they're not, because if they are, then they're holding each other up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my!
I'll have a look, see what they're doing.
Buggy. Do you have that bug as well, where you can't go to NJJ?
Nope, I can go to NJJ. Although...
That's great. I should probably reconnect.
Actually, no, because I've clicked on him and yeah, I can't see him because he's in the pits. I think I thought it was because he's in the pits, but maybe it's not.
Oh no, it worked.
Okay.
They'd always skipped me over NJJ, and then I couldn't go back up from Bascadini to Light Cruiser.
Okay, that's a little bit weird. But yeah, we got several people. Yeah, I think the 2 runners are on outlaps, to answer your question. I think Light Cruiser was trying to pass Bascadinho, and Bascadinho didn't particularly want to let him pass, so they're going to have to wait a little bit. And Bailey...
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Basco, and he just disappeared.
Hmm.
Went into thin air. Maybe he found the one ring and put it on, or he's just left the session. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's probably left the session. Triton coming around to finish his lap, although he's apparently invalidated because into the pits he comes. And in the meantime, Light Cruiser is going to start his lap. So only 5 people posted laps at all yet in this qualifying session. 10 minutes to go. Bantz on a very provisional pole, a 36.1. Although he's going to be on the softs, and as Icewind puts in a 37.7 on the hard tyres. And I don't think that 36.1 is going to be beaten by anyone on mediums. That would be my prediction, because that is a good enough lap that even with a very good medium lap, I would not expect that to be beaten.
What time bounces? Oh yeah, that's a good time.
Yeah, 36.1. It's very solid. Light Cruiser's on mediums. He's trying to do a lap on the mediums, so giving himself some options towards the end of the session. Over the Anderson Bridge into the hairpin. Really giving it plenty of space on the exit there.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when like EGL qualifying, or at least EGL practice qualifying times like low 35s, so...
Were they... Yeah, they were on the softs though.
Bantz's time is on the soft, so...
Yeah, it is. I feel like you might still be a little bit low, by the way. I don't know if that's if that's anything you've done, but you're much quieter than you were in chat earlier, for example.
Bascadenia just.
Oh, and Light Cruiser as well.
They did exactly the same. Literally copycatted.
Oh dear.
Two teammates spinning out exactly the same within seconds. We've never done that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was our Germany practice, wasn't it?
That was Hockenheim, yeah. Assetto played that one because, I mean, the Light Cruiser Bascadenia one because that was actually hilarious.
So, Pretorius on what is his second run. Don't know what his lap time is. Popo gets himself out of the way very nicely. Oh, Pretorius was a little bit deep into that right-hander. That'll cost him a little bit of time through the left, and then the little tricky left-right. He almost hits the wall on the inside there, but manages to avoid it. And through the final right-left second gear there for a bit more traction. That seems a little bit excessive, but Randy comes round the last corner. Is this going to be the first 1 minute 35 of the day? It is a 35.6. Good lap from Pretorius.
Yeah, very good one. That's more like what I would have expected.
Yeah, Bantz I think is going to join him in the 35s, although I don't think he's quite as quick. He was 2/10 up and he abandons. I guess he invalidated, so no lap for Bantz.
Yeah, judging by Light Cruiser and Bascadenia, now I get my Guan Yu Zhou as a Renault Junior driver.
You see, yeah.
Yeah,
the motorsport manager, Guan Yu Zhou, for Thimo, was not a good performer earlier today. He was very sad about it.
I wasn't sad, I was angry. Anyway.
Oh, Speedy getting the first 3 corners all wrong on his first run on the mediums.
Yeah, Danny Cole got quite sideways here, but he didn't hit a wall.
I'm not sure Danny is doing qualifying laps. I think he's just cruising around on the hard tires. Going to do his one-shot effort a little bit later on.
Is my volume good now?
Yep, it's I think better now. Let us know in chat if it's better.
Then I know what to return to. But.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're still a tiny bit quieter than you were, but yeah, I think it's okay now from my end at least. Oh, Bailey needs an invite. Yeah, he's back in. So that's good. We're going to have Tipsy for the race, I think, by the sounds of things, on default setups, which is really good.
Well, I think now you can use the setups. I think you can change them now, even though you joined late.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure they changed that. We had cases in VRL Canada. I drove there, and I think someone did it. Milos. So,
okay.
I think he's gonna be fine. Tipsy could actually have some fun driving here. Maybe if he's gonna be in the Haas, we're gonna see the old tech team.
Yeah.
In the objectively worst car on the grid.
Yeah, in what is apparently the worst equal car on the grid. Some cars apparently more equal than others. I don't know about that.
Every mathematician just tried to hang himself hearing that.
It's NJJ.
It's not equal.
Yeah, NJJ had abandoned, so he's going to be going into the pit. Speedy now, going to see if he can do a slightly better job in the first 3 corners, which he did. Got them right this time, so Speedy's lap is off to a considerably better start. Into the right-hander that slingshots him under the DRS, straight 4th gear there, get the power down nice and early. And then as you can see the DRS wing open.
You know, this game is like Animal Farm, because all cars are equal, but some are more equal.
There you go. Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to get the reference, but yeah, you did.
Oh, that was a
reference. That was a reference to that. Yeah.
I felt very big brain for that. But I only know the sentence out of a metal music video, so you know that's my state of education.
Okay. Speedy across the Anderson Bridge. And into the hairpin. We got yellows in sector 3. Don't know why. We've still only got 10 times set. People obviously having trouble. Weird. Yeah.
Now I imagine you must have been very proud when you figured I was about to do the big Animal Farm reference. Anyway.
Milos Martika has just crossed the line a few seconds ago. He's done a 36.5, which is a very solid lap. On the soft tyres.
Won't be happy with that, I imagine.
Yeah. Could have been pole if only he'd gone a second faster, but you know.
Yeah, exactly. If only I was quicker than Ed Like Tiara, and I could have qualified for eSport. But
Yeah,
like, it was
exactly.
so close.
Speedy then around the last corner. Is this a valid lap? It is not. It was a 35.6, which is an extremely fast medium lap. Wow. That would have been only barely slower than Pretorius. But I guess he invalidated somewhere. And instead... Well, he's going to have to do a... He's going to have to go again. He's going to have 4 laps on those tyres, which is an awful lot. Otherwise, he's going to be starting on the hard tyres, which he definitely won't want to do. As Icewind slows down, gets out of the way of whoever it is that's coming up behind. Light Cruiser on the hard tyres, who I would guess is... Yeah, I don't have any explanation for that. He doesn't have enough time to get into the pits and go out again, so he is going to be starting on those hard tyres if he puts a lap in the top 10. So, what's the state of play then? Triton is going out on mediums, so that's what his plan is. OceanChief likewise going for the medium tyres. 2.5 minutes to go. We've got Bantz out there at the moment, who's just finished a lap and done a 35.9, so he consolidates his second place. Pretorius is our current pole man. He's just started a lap as well. Icewind is about to start a lap on the medium tyres. That'll be his one-shot effort. Danny going to do the same. So is Slash, Triton, and OceanChief. And is Bailey leaving the... Yeah, Bailey is leaving the pits now. So he's going to be the last over the line, probably. Let's follow Pretorius then as he goes through the middle sector in the Mercedes. Through he goes. Is he abandoned? It looks like he might have abandoned. He's in low ERS. There's no reason to do that. There's Speedy now starting what will be his final lap. Have we lost Thimo for the time being? What's Timo's situation? Can't hear Thimo. Maybe his Discord is bugged again. Maybe we'll hear him in a second or so.
Do you think so?
There we go. There is Mr. Thimo. So, Pretorius hadn't abandoned. He just wasn't using his ERS for some reason. Not sure about that, but now he'll abandon because he spins on the exit of the penultimate corner and gets that one all wrong. As
he'll still be happy as
Bantz decides to commiserate with him.
Yeah, both are getting DQ'd.
What on earth is going on here?
Please get DQ'd.
I
don't...
What on earth?
It's very puzzling.
What is Bantz doing? Oh well.
Maybe he just wanted to say hello.
Alright, let's see what the lap time situation is then. Speedy is some way up. Furious retires from the session. He's put in P7 lap time, 1 minute 37.8. Speedy got no ERS towards the end of the lap, but he's going to have to do whatever he can. He's got just a little tiny bit left.
Oh, Curse is not gonna make it. Let's go on. Let's go with Curse because he's not gonna make it, and he absolutely cut the chicane.
Speedy crosses the line and he slows down, but
oh, I can hear literally feel the frustration in Curse. Oh, will he make it?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. Doesn't quite get across the line. Nope. He was a second short. So Speedy did improve his lap time, so he will have to start on those medium tires. That is... Yeah, that is not ideal from his perspective. NJJ crosses the line, doesn't improve. Who else have we got on a lap? We got Bailey. Let's follow Bailey as Danny Coe does a very good lap. 36.3 from Danny into third place in the Ferrari. Bailey, though, on a lap on the mediums, and we know how fast Bailey is around here.
Yeah, we really do. I was about to say, we're still missing him from the top, and I think, like, just judging by EGL, he might get even up there to maybe contest with Danico, and now Popo. Popo puts it in fourth. That's a good time on mediums, and just behind Danico. Popo game. I'm trying to get it. Oh, he's 1.4 seconds up. So
Bailey's lap is very good. Yeah, Bailey's in contention for pole here. 103.3 middle sector. I remember from EGL, that is a very fast middle sector. He's on the mediums, which means that he needs to do, what, a 0.3 final sector? That is very doable indeed if he wants to get this on pole. Yeah,
Look how close he gets to the walls. It's just incredible track
yeah.
for
Absolute
that. You have to be
pinpoint
so
accurately. Oh, he had to wait
precise.
a long time in the
Wow.
penultimate corner, though. Through the last corner
Yeah.
he goes. Is it going to be
And
pole? Not quite.
oh,
P2. A very, very good effort, though, on the medium
no, like
tyres.
honestly, if you drive like Bailey, you might as well just become a surgeon because you clearly are good with precise work.
Yeah.
Kirst dropped down to 6th, so I imagine Kirst will absolutely not be happy. I'm almost certain if I joined to a Sorel voice now, I would get a annoyed Kirst and a Speedy that is probably sad about his time as well.
Yeah,
So
Speedy tried to slow down at the line so that he wouldn't improve. I saw that, but he did manage to improve even so. So he's going to start 7th on 4-lap old medium tyres, excuse me, which is very unfortunate.
I'm afraid that's just like a big bottle job, so nobody
Yeah,
to blame there really.
a little bit, I'm afraid. Yeah, worst quality of his life, he says on Steam. So Speedy
Yeah,
not
I wish I had
happy.
that.
So someone we haven't mentioned as well, Popo starting on the medium tyres in P5. So good stuff from Popo, showing his improvement is for real, and he will reap the reward starting on the medium tyres in the top 5 of this race.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see, and I mean honestly, the obvious favorite for this race, I think, is gonna be Bailey Thompson.
Yep.
He has won here in the EGL tournament for SLR, and that win basically shaped the championship in a way that he could take the EGL title. It was a very impressive drive, and he controlled that race completely. He even I mean, you got close in the end, but he was
Yeah, well
just
he did the
throwing you a bone.
he did
So
well he did the big undercut. He was he did a 2-lap undercut on me. So but even in the laps after the undercut, he was a little bit faster for a while, and then I think he backed off towards the end.
yeah, exactly. Told us that in the interviews that
Yeah.
he basically just controlled it with Jensen at that point, and I think if he's gonna bring that performance again, and the qualifying indicates that he will, then he's gonna have a very great race, or like very good chances. I don't want to write anything off. It's still Singapore, and Bailey could maybe in like he could lead completely dominant, and then in lap 30 he suddenly falls asleep and just hits the wall, and then he's out. So that could always happen.
Yeah, it's so easy to do here.
Yeah, it's a
It's,
fairly. I feel like it's a fairly wide track, with the difference compared to other tracks. There's no grass, there's a wall.
Yeah, exactly. If you make a mistake, it's nearly always damage, and quite often it's the end of your afternoon. So,
Or night in this case.
or night, exactly.
And I must say, I've said it multiple times, but especially this track looks so stunning on this game.
Yeah, it
I
really
think,
does.
Yeah, Bahrain looks kind of weird with the lighting. I don't know, but Singapore is absolutely nailed. Just the skyline and everything, I really enjoyed. So like, I mean, F1 has a lot of issues, but graphics are not one of them.
Yeah, certainly the nighttime lighting in 2019 is one of the things that's most noticeable, I think, about the improvement from 2018. So, really good to see this track here is F1 2019 at its best, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's like easily the most stunning track. I don't think. Maybe Abu Dhabi.
Oh, something we haven't mentioned for a while as well, and thank you to Dead Pixel for pointing it out as well. There will be rain at the end of the race, and it will go to heavy rain at the end of the race. So,
what?
yeah, so we're going to have
That's
some
relevant.
changeable weather conditions in this one. We know how much
Which weather
Codemasters
slot is
like
it going
to...
rain in?
I don't know. He said it was 10 to 15 minutes, though. So,
Oh, that's not a lot, but then, I mean that.
yeah, don't
That's
know.
interesting for strategy. What are you gonna do? Because maybe if it's 10 to 15 minutes, you could actually stretch the softs. But I never trust Jeff, so I would assume it's probably like half
Well,
an hour.
everyone... Oh, what's happened here? Furious and... Who was that? Tipsy? Yeah, Tipsy having some sort of an incident on the formation lap. So, something happened there. But I was going to say that everyone on the back of the grid has decided that to go with the hard tyres. So, I would assume that is to try and stretch it until the weather hits.
Yeah, and that also kinda in my view, indicates that we're gonna have that the mediums might not make it, so the soft runners might not completely be out of this compared to the softs. But now we're gonna go to the start.
Yep, we're going to have some lights here. 4 of them, 5 of them to be exact, and we are underway in Singapore. Looked like a pretty good start from Pretorius. Bailey on the mediums, going to have to defend from Bantz in 3rd place, and down the inside goes Danny Coe, having at least a look at Bantz. Still side by side there. Bantz, though, keeps the position for now. Everyone looked like they got through. What's happening towards the back? Icewind trying to make a move.
Absolutely swamped, but I didn't see what happened. I didn't see him spinning or anything, but he's dropped down to P16. Furious also lost a bunch of positions and is now with TipsyBob, which we have seen on the formation lol. And there's Toro Rosso on the inside there. That's Popo.
Yeah, Popo let Speedy through. Popo let Speedy through his teammate, so Speedy up to P5. He didn't get the best of starts, but makes his way up to P5 on those older medium tyres. But up front, Pretorius still has the lead from Bailey. Bailey, though, of course, on the medium tyres. Bantz as well on the soft, holding position for the time being. Then Danico, who's under all sorts of pressure from Speedy, into the hairpin.
And Speedy already, look at his speed. He's already so close to Danico.
Yeah, he certainly is.
This is not his favorite track, but that doesn't mean he's not absolutely rapid here as well. And after being led through by Popo Gamer, he shows why. Popo Gamer probably offered to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Very sensible from Popo. Just follow your more experienced teammate and see through. Oh, and hitting the wall there was Slash, and he will have lost a bunch of his front wing there. In that tricky left-hander I was talking about in qualifying, and he's got all sorts of understeer now. So Slash.
The plates are still there though, so it's probably like something.
Okay, he hit the wall hard though. I'm sure he'll have pretty significant damage there. Furious has spun in the penultimate corner as well, so Furious really struggling. He resets.
He will be absolutely.
He'll be very upset with himself. Meanwhile, Pretorius. Pretorius under pressure from Bailey Thompson here, but not close enough this time. Then Bantz, Danny, and Speedy. Bantz.
Oh, Speedy! Wow, I thought he was gonna rear-end Danny here, maybe, but I mean, he knows what he's doing in a race car, so it's all fine. And yeah, the slipstream doesn't do really anything here. You need the DRS on that straight, and it was not there, and that's why you could see just like Danny and Speedy not doing anything against Bantz here for now.
Yeah, absolutely. Bantz will, I think, be hoping to stretch his legs a little bit on those soft tyres, but...
Oh, Bantz! Wow! That was sideways. He absolutely, he faced the wall there for a second. I was running on board with Speedy, and that looked dangerous.
Okay, yeah, I missed that, unfortunately. But Bantz, yeah, obviously struggling on those tyres. I don't know exactly what the situation is. Maybe struggling to get those softs working. We know the situation there. Popo following his teammate very closely as well. Danny, though, all over the back now of that Haas for P3. And yeah, Speedy all over the back as well.
The pressure, I'm sure. He's got a red horse breathing down his neck.
Yep, absolutely. A prancing red horse. As Bailey does the fastest lap of the race. Danny now right on the back of Bantz. Bantz goes to the inside.
Thompson goes to the inside for turn 1. I don't know if you see that, but he was side by side with Pretorius there. That was quite an ambitious move. Pretorius just able to fend it off and curse the pits.
And Bantz defending from Danny as well in a big way. Bantz losing a lot of time now to the leaders because they are defending, and there was a...
Oh, and he's been punted, I think!
Yeah, he did.
The wall goes Bantz, and that's the end of his race, I'm sure. Now everyone has to avoid him because he made the track more narrow there. Now Pretorius is losing out to Bailey Thompson. Bailey Thompson around the outside.
And Bantz retires. Yeah.
Not a surprise there. Pretorius couldn't hold his own long enough against Bailey. Now Bailey's gonna try to stretch his legs and get away from the other medium runners, represented by Danny Coe and Speedy. Those who have not, well, those who didn't die in that crash, unlike Bantz, unfortunately in the Haas. So
yeah, I think I'm pretty sure there was contact. Yeah, he got rear-ended, I think, by Danny, which is why the crash happened. So Bantz, unfortunately, bad luck from him. Out of the race. Speedy, though, right on the back of Danny. Nothing doing through the right-hander. And towards the end of the lap, Bailey stretching his legs, as you said. A second and a half already between himself and Pretorius. Pretorius on those soft tyres, really struggling to make them work. But we don't know what the rain situation is. When the rain is going to arrive, who's it going to benefit? Is it going to benefit the medium runners? Or is it going to benefit the hard runners who are not really making progress as such, but certainly hanging on to the back of the group?
Also, Pixel pointing out a lot of cosplays in Shadow. He even talks about it himself. It's yeah, Matt had a short and eventful race there.
Yeah, he certainly did.
At least now he can blame him being overtaken by the fact that it was crashed out. He can say, I would have held on for 30 laps, for sure. I mean, dude, have you tried passing bands? It's not that fun.
It's, yeah, it's almost as difficult as passing Wimpy. It's,
Yeah, but one of them is actually difficult, and the other one is bands.
So, Light Cruiser, is that a change of position? Light Cruiser on Icewind. Light Cruiser now the lead hard runner. Meanwhile, Pretorius now being caught by this train of medium runners. Danny Coe leading them in the Ferrari. Speedy and Popo also following pretty closely, but Pretorius doing a pretty good job on those soft tyres to keep himself ahead of those guys. He's not really in touch with Bailey, but we know how fast Bailey is.
We also know more.
Oh, and something happened between
NJJ off track there.
Yeah, something happened, I think, between NJJ and Triton. Didn't see exactly what. There was contact between the two of them, though, I think. As
slipped through and Triton almost hitting the wall on the bridge there.
Yeah. So yeah, something happened there. I think NJJ has damage, I'm pretty sure. Don't know about Triton. But
and
certainly...
Danny Pretorius switched positions in turn 1. Danny's got the move done.
Oh, yeah, no, he definitely has. Wonder if Pretorius is going to get the DRS, though. He might be able to get him back here.
Yeah, meanwhile, Bance has confirmed that our eyes were not deceiving us.
Yeah, he was hit.
Got rear-ended.
Yeah.
And Pretorius not able to do anything. You can see, I mean, the soft tires. Oh, Danica with a bit of lag, but the soft tires are already.
Yeah, they're already struggling.
Their will to live.
Yeah.
The question is, how is the rain gonna play out here, and is someone going to be able to, challenge Bailey Thompson? Because the 4.6 seconds tell me no.
Yeah, that's a pretty big gap. Cursed, unfortunately, at the back. He had done a pit stop, as you mentioned, so he's on the hard tyres. And he gets himself 3 seconds as well to add a little bit more insult to injury. Speedy on the back of Pretorius. Decides not to go for it this time. Oh, Pretorius really struggling there, and I think Speedy is going to be passed this time. Into the very tight section. So Speedy is released as well. And Popo now will be looking to get past that Mercedes. I wonder if Pretorius is going to be pitting at the end of this lap. He's really struggling on those soft tyres. And he does decide to dive into the pit lane. So he's the first scheduled pit stop. The soft tyres not really doing much for him, unfortunately.
It was absolutely needed, and also that was a pretty... Sorry
oh,
to say,
3 seconds for Speedy already. Wow.
That was a pretty granny type pit entrance for Pretorius as well. He broke way too early, I think, and then he had to over-rev the car to get some speed in again. It looked very weird, and now he's down to P14, just ahead of Kirst. Well, but Kirst is, he's not just ahead of Kirst, he's only ahead of Kirst. And now he'll try to gain some time back on the fresh set of mediums in clear air. He's got 8 seconds off-road ahead of him, then it's Furious.
Yeah, he should be able to do that. He's effectively got an undercut on everyone, but it's a question of whether the others are going to get a free pit stop with the weather situation being what it is. These guys on the mediums are circulating pretty quickly at the moment. Certainly Danny is keeping the pace up. Not quite as fast as Bailey.
Bailey's pace is absolutely incredible. I just looked at the race director. He's consistently 1 second per lap quicker than Danny.
Yeah.
And he's doing high 40s and low 41s, and everyone else is doing high 41s and low 42s. So absolutely great pace. I feel like we might have to talk to him again after this race, which is of course an indicator of him doing good. Slash LP has got his own train going on here on the streets of Singapore. So
yeah, the lap time there, Speedy's lap time from 3rd place, he was 4/10 slower than Bailey on that lap, 41.5 versus 41.9. So I think the...
My cruiser might line up the pass here, but nothing happening now. Go on.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I think a second per lap is probably not sustainable. Oh no, Miloš.
He was driving without a front wing and then just understeered into the wall. I saw that.
Oh dear, that's very unfortunate. So Miloš, unfortunately, we've lost. But now Light Cruiser slash LP going defensive on the inside, and yeah, he has to yield, which he does. So Light Cruiser released into P5. We have a bunch of yellows. Oh no!
And I feel like Triton wanted to let people through here, but he's randomly stationary. What's going on with Triton? I don't know. What's going on?
I don't know either. Triton's been in his fair share of incidents in this race, and
I'm really confused. I think I'm going to ask because I'm very confused.
Okay. Oh, no, yeah, he's trying to retire now. He's obviously had enough, unfortunately. So Triton does retire from the session.
Or maybe Pixel can tell us because you know, he's in voice chat with them, and then I don't have to leave here. I would like to know that.
Yeah. So we're down to 13 runners out of the 16 that started on lap 7. Bailey still going very quickly indeed. Just going to check his lap time as he backs it into the final corner. Another 41.6 from Bailey. Danny, meanwhile, and across the line, and yeah, quite a bit slower. 42.5 from him. Speedy almost lost it in the final corner there. Did manage to catch it, but he must be struggling now with those medium tyres.
Wow. So some sideways there.
And Popo now all over the back of Speedy. Speedy's not going to have DRS here either, so I wonder if we're going to see a change of position here between the two Toro Rossos.
Yeah, I just wonder maybe... I mean, so I'm very confident that in the fact that Popo ordered himself behind Speedy. I'm very sure that Speedy didn't request him to let him through or something. Especially because it was that early. But I wonder if Popo is going to expect...
Basco on Ocean here for P8. Oh, Ocean decided not to go defensive. Basco was expecting him to. And down the inside goes Basco Dino into P8.
I was wondering if Popo thinks that Speedy should return the favor here. Because he appears to be quicker.
I mean, he does.
Okay, this lap so far hasn't really looked that way, but before it kind of was, and Speedy is out of Popo because Popo let him through. Maybe if Popo can put in some times and knock on Speedy's door repeatedly, maybe Speedy can be convinced to return the favor, even though I doubt it.
Yeah, well, Popo would do well. He's using all of his battery at the moment. He would do well just to save a little bit of battery, maybe, because unless it's bugged for me, which it might be, but
Popo.
He's got no battery at all, and he's in overtake.
Popo is in full battery for me, and he's in hot lap.
Okay, so yeah, it's bugged. So that's not a real battery level, unfortunately, which might explain why his DRS wasn't opening as well as Slash LP almost loses it out of the final corner. Did catch it though.
Slash is actually having a decent race so far.
Yeah, he is.
This season has been plagued by bad results and spins and crashes and stuff, but it's running in P6, and the worst case scenario at this point is still finishing 13th, which is you know, only horrible and not super horrible. So
yeah, and
can't fall that far down.
It would be a brave person to bet that was going to be the last retirement as well. NJJ gets himself 3 seconds. And we had a swap for P10 as well. Tipsy let Pretorius through. Pretorius on much better tyres, of course. Pretorius is going to send one here on Ocean. He doesn't. Ocean on the old hard tyres, Pretorius having to come through the traffic.
Pixel pointed out in the chat that that Triton was battling with Slash, and then he ended up having an incident with Basket-In-You. And but that doesn't really explain what happened afterwards. Was he just like frustrated and just like parked? And
I would imagine so. Yeah, that would be my guess.
I feel like there might be something coming in because if I recall correctly, he held up good. Like he probably roadblocked someone. So.
Okay.
Maybe there are going to be consequences for that.
Well, remains to be seen. Pretorius passing OceanChief into the right-hander. We have yellows. Who's that yellows for?
Danico's in the pits.
In the pits, yeah. Was it? Oh, it's Icewind. It's Icewind who's spun in the left-hander. We have a VSC.
And Speedy will be so upset right now because he is not in the pits. And Popo and Danny have absolutely nailed their pit stop timing.
My goodness.
Drive-through penalty for Furious.
Oh, Furious will be again upset with himself and himself.
I was about to search for another synonym. Went with the same one, consistency.
So yeah, Speedy will be upset because yeah, he's lost out there in the VSC. He didn't get himself into the pits. We're racing again. But now a big advantage for both Popo and Danny. What happened? Did Danny have to change his wing? Oh, Danny's come out behind 2 cars. That's a pretty significant disaster for Danny because he's got Tipsy and Ocean just in front of him who are battling for the honour of Ireland. Bascodinho retires behind as well. So we've lost Bascodinho. We're down to 12 runners in this Singapore Grand Prix. Ocean, a little bit of a squeeze on Tipsy there, but this is a total disaster for Danny, who's losing all sorts of time.
Bascodinho retired himself. His car is slowly rolling on the straight thingy, like the only overtaking opportunity, the long DRS.
Yeah. Okay.
So with the kink in it, and I assume he hit the wall there, and yeah, and then retired himself.
Danny on the back of Ocean, who's going to try, I think, now to make his way past, and yeah, that'll be a straightforward move.
That's 2 people trying to conserve ERS because they both know how this is going to end. Ocean was in ERS 0 and Danny was in ERS 1.
Now, so Speedy pits the lap after the other 2 did. So Light Cruiser's going to take 2nd place. And we're going to see where Speedy comes out, whether he comes out ahead of Popo Gamer or, as I would suspect, behind Popo Gamer because of that VSC. And yeah, that is exactly what's happening. Speedy's still in the pit lane. It's going to be close between Speedy and Danny. Danny really got held up a lot by the 2 battling Irishmen. And yeah, Speedy does keep that position ahead of Danny. So Speedy P5, but some way now behind Popo and also behind Pretorius, who, as I said, managed to do the big undercut.
Cruiser, wow, holy, that was a drift. I'm sorry.
Oh wow.
He went absolutely sideways, and I was very convinced he was gonna hit the wall at full speed there. But well, that was a drift and a half.
Fortunately, he didn't.
The heart attack, guys. I had one as well, so it's fair. Oh my god.
Meanwhile, Bailey leads by 19 seconds now, and he's almost at the point. If he pits now, he'll come out P2 behind Light Cruiser, but several seconds, I think, behind Light Cruiser. So it'll be interesting to see what he does and whether he's able to pull away any more. Light Cruiser's had a pretty good race coming from wherever he came on the grid. He was 14th on the grid, so given that he's now 2nd, that is a good effort, and Bailey does pit.
Yeah, the undercut is good here, but Bailey is good here as well, so...
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, but the team is not prepared! No, wait, it's not. My game is bugged.
Is that the, yeah, the spectator glitch, the usual one?
Yeah, they started running out of the... I mean, I don't feel like it's that usual, for me anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't happen every time.
Popo Gamer's on the straight now, and Bailey Thompson is heading out, so... I think he's lost some yeah, he's definitely lost some time to the VSC and pit stop and stuff. And if you... well, Light Cruiser's in the effective lead of this race if you're going to assume he's going to make it to the rain, which I think he will, otherwise he wouldn't have picked the hards. So...
Yeah.
But if they pass Light Cruiser, which I assume they will, then that means Popo Gamer is actually in in P2 here. So
Yep,
great performance, and we're
absolutely right.
seeing the first raindrops.
Okay,
At least I am.
so it is now raining. We don't know how quickly it's going to get wet, or get wet enough for Inters at the very least. Icewind does the fastest lap of the race, and that might actually matter because it's just started raining, so that might actually end up as the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, so it will. Well, also what happened to Icewind this race, I've not seen him anywhere, and he's very far down the... Don't think I've even said his name in this broadcast so far, so I don't know what happened to him.
Oh, there looks like there's not a lot of grip. I have to be honest, it looks like Ocean and Tipsy are struggling their way through the Anderson Bridge section, so it might be that Bailey Thompson has lost out here because he's pitted when it was about to rain in earnest. And yeah, Bailey is struggling as well, so I think we're going to have Inters quite soon here. It looks like the weather has affected things very quickly. Light Cruiser pits, so he thinks it's time for Inters.
I think that might be a bit early, but I think within the next lap there's a good chance that we're going to get that. Honestly, at the point where we saw... Oh, Tipsy! Wow! Where we saw Tipsy filling a seat for this race, I think everyone just wanted to see that fight with OceanChief, and he got an instant 3-second time penalty for that. And
yeah, he did.
I get why.
But they're both pitting, so they think it's time for Inters. Oh, Tipsy, no.
Tipsy hit the wall.
Danny pits as well. Danny's on Inters too, and DRS has been disabled.
Timing. And they actually... Oh, now Bailey, Thompson, Pretorius, Popo, and Speedy are all screwed.
Yeah.
They just passed by the pit lane, but it was their decision. They could have made the other call.
Well, it might not be too bad on the fresh medium tires. Oh, Pretorius and Speedy struggling so much though.
Speedy! Is Speedy getting through? Please don't break yourself, Pretorius. Oh wow, this is absolutely... This is...
and Light Cruiser suddenly in a fantastic position here because, as you said, it's really a big difference between the between the dry tires and the wet tires in terms of the amount of grip there is now. You can see we're going to watch Bailey. Bailey's tiptoeing his way through the hairpin, absolutely having to take it so easy. Popo's on the hard tires, so he's going to really be struggling in the wet.
He's on mediums.
Oh, is he? Okay, yeah, it's bugged then. So he's on mediums.
I assume that my ERS thing for him was just like, oh no, Popo! He outbroke himself there.
Oh, he did. Did he hit the wall? He missed the wall. My goodness, that was...
He almost as a cosplay, and now Pretorius is sideways. This is amazing.
Yeah, everyone's struggling. Light Cruiser's not far behind them. Light Cruiser's going to be in the lead by a long way here.
Yeah, he is. Bailey has to fight for this, and I feel like this race has been going on.
Oh,
for
Bailey almost hit the
wall.
wall. My goodness, Bailey. He will have had a heart attack there through the left-hander.
Enough to sustain it. Anyway,
and he cuts right across the corner. Is he going to get a penalty for that? He didn't.
I'll check for warnings.
But he waited.
So he would be very effective not pit here.
My goodness.
Oh no, he spins! Bailey Thompson spins on pit entry! I can't believe it!
And the Toro Rossos make their way into the pit lane. And Speedy's going to lose out here. Bailey's lost both of those positions. Speedy gets 5 seconds as well for that collision.
Penalty! Wow! Oh my god!
And he's going to have to wait behind Popo, unfortunately for him. So, my goodness.
And suddenly Light Cruiser has turned from someone on an odd strategy that wasn't supposed to be where he is to the clear favorite to win this race. He's 15 seconds up the road and there's no strategy games going on. It's just flat out push towards the end of the race, even though, I mean, you probably can't flat out push, maybe the tires won't like it. But I assume you're gonna be able to go to the end from here.
Oh, Speedy's P8, my goodness.
That's a superb position for him.
So Speedy's got a lot of work to do from P8, but yeah, the situation at the moment, Bailey lost out there, partly because of his spin, but partly also because of the tyre situation. He is 23 seconds off the lead right now. Danny's in a very good position in P2, and Bailey's going to have to get the hammer down if he wants a good result. He is really struggling though through the right-hander, and it was looking so good for him, and now it is, well, it's not over yet for him, and he's still in third place. Let's not forget that, but he has a lot of work to do if he wants to win this race.
Yeah, he will be so bummed gutted with this. It's and it's there's yellows, and okay. Oh, it's TipsyBob. We've
Oh
lost
no,
our.
Tipsy.
I can't even say favorite Irishman because then you know Pixel and Ocean are gonna be mad. So I'm saying one of our favorite
Oh,
Irishmen.
lots of damage. Most of the front wing
Yeah.
gone. So Tipsy going to be tiptoeing around to probably change his front wing, and that's yeah, big disaster for Tipsy because he was in a good position. He was in what, P7. Ocean right on the back of Popo here. Popo really struggling on the intermediate tyres by the looks of things. He's got Ocean all over the back of him. We got more yellows. What is that for? We don't know. Looks like Icewind. Icewind. Oh yeah, Icewind spun in the right-hander leading into sector 3. He's lost most of his front wing as well, so he's going to have to pit. So many incidents here. We got half of this race to go still. It has been an eventful one so far. OceanChief now falling off the back just a little bit of Popo. Meanwhile, further back, Speedy is catching the pair of them. He's 6 seconds off the back of Ocean now. Further up, so the gap between Light Cruiser and Danny, first and second, the gap is 14 seconds. And that is nearly all because of the strategic decision that Light Cruiser made to pit at the end of that lap. And he avoided having to go around on another lap. Tipsy going full wets. We are going to get heavy rain at some point, but it seems a little bit early for that.
Yeah, don't know. His strategists must have had a little bit too many Guinness. You know, too much Guinness. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, too much Guinness, not enough tea.
Exactly.
So Bailey.
Whatever the hell he's put in his tea there.
Yeah, so Bailey is... I'm just going to do a quick lap time comparison when they cross the line here. I wonder how much, if any, Bailey is actually catching the lead 2. He's struggling quite a lot by the looks of things on those intermediate tyres. So Light Cruiser did a 56.5. Danny's about to cross the line now. And Danny does a 56.0. And Bailey's going to cross the line now. And yeah, he doesn't look like he's catching very much. He's catching a little bit. It's a 55.7. But he's got a lot of work to do. 16 laps to go in this race. We are about to hit half distance. 3 seconds for Bailey as well. After he cut what I guess was turn 2. So that makes his job even a little bit harder.
Yeah, I just said yeah because I imagined you probably wondered if I was gone again. So, what's the next thing that's going to happen? I assume it's
Speedy's,
against
yeah.
OceanChief.
Speedy's going to get Ocean at some point, I think. Speedy's been catching very, very quickly indeed. We know how good Speedy is in the wet.
Yeah, he is, but he's not in a place where he can be happy about his pace. I mean, well, he will not be happy with this race in general.
Well, there's still half of this race to go. We have just hit half distance, so plenty of time as Ocean decides that that's not a battle that he particularly wants to pick. So Speedy, and Speedy making a mistake there in the left-hander as well, having just overtaken Ocean. So Speedy now up to P6. He's got his teammate 5 seconds up the road. And then he's got another 8 seconds before he gets to Pretorius.
By the way, potentially interesting, the championship standings. I mean, we haven't really talked about them all season because it was pretty much a clear Speedy game. But Bailey Thompson has got more victories than Speedy, and he is getting closer and closer in the championship standings. It's 44 points between the two of them. And Speedy might run out of races, so we might get a Season 1 situation here where Sergio's was the clear favorite all season, and then towards the end he's dropping off. And if you look at the history of 2 Sorrel standings, in Season 4 it was, let me have a look, Speedy won 7 out of the first 11 races, and then he didn't win after Hungary. So
Yeah,
there's,
it
I
is
mean,
interesting, isn't it? It is interesting. Popo gets 3 seconds. The top 3, by the way, last lap did basically exactly the same lap time. They all did mid-55s. So Light Crews are looking very comfortable at the moment. But yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right about Speedy. He will certainly be nervous now. The only saving grace really for him is that Bailey doesn't look like he's very likely to take maximum points here. Although, again, you should stress there are still 15 laps to go.
yeah. I want to say, maybe the field is pretty spread out right now. I recommend going on board with Speedy. It's I think it's amazing watching him. Oh wow, that was.
So 3 seconds for Light Cruiser there, and Speedy almost hit the wall.
Yeah,
on the
almost
exit of
jinxed
that
him
left-hander.
Yeah, it's to me it's kind of incredible how he drives so well in the rain on this track that absolutely doesn't suit his driving style, I would imagine. And it's so precise. It's
well, it's very precise, but notice his throttle inputs as well. Obviously, no assists in SLR Tier 1, so no traction control or any nonsense like that. But just look at his throttle inputs as he outbrakes himself there a little bit for that right-hander, but very, very gentle with the throttle on the exit of corners, and that's what you have to do if you want to be fast in the wet. You've got to be smooth and consistent, and you've got to not be greedy on the throttle, which is a really important thing.
Yeah, if you ever watched the Monaco onboard from Terra here, you will see it looks slow as hell.
Yeah.
But the times say otherwise.
Yep, absolutely.
I feel like just like driving, my driving in Monaco looked a lot quicker than yours and was only 2 seconds off. So you know.
Yeah.
This game, that's kind of nice in this game, that it's not as much about throwing it around corners and it's more about being slow and methodical. And by slow I mean fast. But,
you certainly have to drive properly. And yeah, Speedy's last lap time was a 55.3, so yeah, he's on it at the moment. Here's
what's
Bailey.
Popo doing?
Popo lost a second that lap, so I think he did a mid 56.
He did a high 55.
Okay.
He got a penalty and a warning in that lap, so.
Okay, well that's unfortunate. So yeah, the penalty. We should note the penalty situation. I think all of the front 3 have 3 seconds from memory.
I'll check up on it. I'll give you the.
Okay. Thank you. I don't think Pretorius has one. I've not seen one at least. Who is that? Was that Danny? No, it wasn't Danny.
So Light Cruise is on
the yellows.
1 and 1.
Oh, Popo's spun. Popo's crashed, in fact, on the bridge. That is a disaster for Popo. Didn't see what happened, but he was in the wall.
Yeah, Tipsy has been in the escape road, parked for quite some time. But yeah, Popo is bottled. Is his wing dead? Yes, his wing.
Yeah, no, he definitely got wing damage, and yeah, his.
Big.
I don't think it's. Yeah, I don't know how bad it is, but yeah, he's really struggling there through the right-hander. So I think he'll have to pit, which is very unfortunate for him.
And that will absolutely throw him out of contention. He'll be behind /LP and Furious, and he will be.
I think he'll be ahead of Furious.
Yeah, he will be between Slash and Furious.
You between him, yeah. Okay. I thought you said behind, but yeah.
And actually, no, I don't want to jinx him over. Great race from OceanChief.
Yeah, it has been a fantastic race from OceanChief. He's got NJJ behind him, but he's about to inherit P6, I think. Popo into the pit lane to get that wing fixed. He'll be kicking himself. He was on for a very good result in this race.
Yeah, I was kind of scared mentioning OceanChief's good drives, because he's one of the people who I know watches every single broadcast of every league on EGL, and that will mean if he's gonna crash after this, then he's gonna be mad at me, because I'm at fault. And yeah, but now NJJ is on his back.
Yep, he is. I mean, it's not easy to overtake, so might have to be a brave one from MJJ. Who's that ahead? That must be somebody being lapped up ahead. Might be Tipsy. It is Tipsy on the wet weather tyres.
So it's safe to say that Tipsy won the Irish battle for today. Ocean won the Irish battle for today.
Yep, I'd say so.
Yeah, I think Pixel had a better showing in the Irish battle than Tipsy today. I'm dabbing right now. Anyway.
Tipsy moves out of the way and lets Ocean and NJJ through. So they can resume their battle. We have yellows in Sector 3. But no one of the front 5 by the looks of things. We'll keep an eye on the... Oh, Icewind has gone.
A future OceanChief is gonna watch this. I just checked up on chat. They jinxed you over. It wasn't me. They noticed it before I did. So
yep.
yeah,
Chat are big OceanChief fans, and yeah, he's P6 right now, which is going to be a very good point haul for him. So we've lost.
Slash, I think, was a bit wide. I have to say, even though I would call the decision to go on wets...
Oh, and into the wall hard goes Tipsy, sorry.
Yeah, I would call the decision, you know, less under average. Yeah, it's not the best decision I've ever seen in my life.
Suboptimal.
I just try to not make this insulting, and he's gonna crash out here, isn't he? Oh god. But at least you gotta give it to him. He's a man of his word, and apparently also a man of his bad decisions, because he's still on wets, and I think he even got a new set of them.
Nice. Well, yeah, he's got 4 of them. Oh, four laps on them as NJJ makes a mistake there and gets himself.
He's absolutely memeing it.
Oh dear. So Slash is cruising up to the back of this battle as well between Ocean and NJJ on those intermediate tyres up front. Well, it's much as you were. The front 3 circulating pretty quickly and pretty consistently. Danny having an excellent race. So is Light Cruiser, of course, and Bailey. We know how fast Bailey is, but he'll be kicking himself after that whole pit stop fiasco. There's one thing leading to another for Bailey, and unfortunately he lost out in a big way. There seem to be a lot of yellows at the moment. Not exactly sure why that is. I guess it's probably Tipsy.
Yeah, probably. I still kinda can't believe that ACTV for Assetto Corsa has the feature that if someone's causing a yellow, that their name is yellow, and you can click on them and then you know what's the yellow, but this game doesn't, and that kinda makes me sad.
Yeah, it's certainly does. Yeah, Tipsy once again having an off-track excursion.
I want to mention.
Sorry, go on.
You're gonna have to try, actively try to screw up to not get a point in this race unless you're Tipsy at this point. Because Tipsy is...
yeah, well, you have to crash. You have to crash.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this is heavy rain now, by the way. I'm not sure. It's coming down pretty hard.
Let's check Tipsy's time.
Not sure Tipsy's
so
time.
I assume they are not good.
Yeah,
He's about to be lapped by Furious.
Yeah, as Slash LP gets a bit sideways on the exit of the last corner once again, but manages to save the day there. And JJ also makes a mistake in the first couple of corners. He's trying to get close to the back of Ocean, but keeps making those little mistakes.
Yes, right, he's still not passed. And Tipsy's also collected some experience at letting people lap him on wet tires.
Yeah, he's...
because that was very... I mean, you could just see the routine in that move.
So up front...
he's gonna pit, and because it looks like it's time for full wets, I bet he's gonna pit for intermediates. Just a gut feeling. Oh no, he's getting himself DQ'd for blocking the pit lane, isn't he? What is he doing? Tipsy, what are you doing? Kitsu, maybe you can tell us. What is he doing? Why did he run? Oh, you probably stopped to change his tires. Let's see. Oh, he's on softs. Oh my god.
Okay,
no.
so he's going on to the dry tires, so we'll see how well that goes for him.
What an absolute madman. In before, he's leaving the pits and just like getting out of the pit lane and dying on traction, wiping out Light Cruiser. I mean, I don't have anything against Light Cruiser. I think he's put up a phenomenal version of Nerd Drive, but that would still be hilarious.
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen. That would be a real shame. If any of the
anyway, yeah, Bailey Thompson passes here, but Tipsy has got experience being on the wrong tire because he's very slow. He knows what to do to not kill people. And Speedy's pitting. Speedy's come into the pits, and I don't know.
So is that for wet tires? That's probably for wet tires, right?
I'm gonna check. It does look like it looks like they are not doing anything to his cars. It's probably either.
That was a penalty, wasn't it? That was the
Oh
penalty for
yeah.
hitting his teammate
Right.
on the entry to the pit lane last
But he
time.
got himself a new. He got himself a new
A
wing.
front wing as well,
So,
and he's gone onto the wet tyre, so he's behind Ocean and NJJ now, so he's gambling.
yeah.
And behind Slash as well, so he's got a lot of work to do. So he's
Yeah, Toro
gambling.
Rosso's kind of fallen apart.
Tipsy has spun, by the way. You'll be shocked to hear.
How? How?
So, yeah,
I
he's...
think you should actually just remove himself from the race at this point because it's like actually a hazard on the
Slash
track.
again getting very, very sideways. NJJ on the back of OceanChief, deciding not to go for it this time.
I must say,
Ocean P5 now, by the way.
yeah. Don't talk too much about it. I must say, even though Tipsy is being very memey and very careful about driving like a
This is dangerous. It is dangerous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't do this.
It is dangerous.
He shouldn't. I think he should retire. There's 2 cars coming up, and it's Pretorius and NJJ, I think. No, it's Ocean and NJJ. Yeah, he's gonna take the escape road, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, and NJJ having a look at the inside into the hairpin, deciding not to. In the end, he pulled out of it, but Ocean was certainly going to be nervous there. And Slash is closing all the time as well, so we're going to have a 3-car battle here for P5 very soon. Maybe even a 4-car battle, because Speedy's going to cruise up to the back of them. Oh, and there, did Ocean make a mistake? I didn't exactly see what happened, but I think he made a mistake, and now NJJ has finally made his way through. Pretorius pits for wets as well. So he decides that the wet tyres are what he wants to be on. We got... Oh, Speedy's crashed! Has Speedy crashed?
Oh, wow!
What happened?
What happened? And I assume that's the bridge. I'm on board with Popo.
There he is. There he is.
But you don't crash there. What happened to
I
him?
don't know. Maybe maybe he just got loose and... Oh, as Furious almost hits the wall. Maybe he just got loose and couldn't save it and ended up going straight into the wall. Ocean and Slash both pitting as well. NJJ stayed out. So they've gone onto the wet tyres. We still have 9 laps to go of this race. It's a long one in Singapore.
Yeah, and if rain comes in, it makes it even longer. I can't... And now, yeah, Tipsy is absolutely memeing. He's gone to the pits, and he's putting on mediums.
And
I
he's
told
retired.
him in PMs he should Oh, okay, good.
He's retired, yeah.
Let's hope at least he blocked the pit lane for Pretorius. That would be the icing on the interesting drive.
Yeah, so it is lap 24. We are down to 9 runners of the 16 that started in this race. Everyone still in the race is going to get at least 2 points. Maybe more. Because certainly, again, this is a very long race. We said that before. It's especially long with the rain, of course. It is now heavy rain, and I wonder what the situation is in terms of Ocean and NJJ. Whether NJJ is going to decide to come into the pits. Oh, as he misses the apex by some distance of the right-hander there.
Yeah. I have got to say, if I was Slash here, I would feel a bit trolled by this race because, you know, he was a...
Oh, Ocean!
Chief, no!
Ocean into the
And
wall.
he's getting a penalty.
Yeah, he got himself a penalty there. I don't know about that.
Taking that one off, that looks ridiculous, but...
Yeah, that was a
no.
ridiculous one. I don't know how much of his front wing he lost. I'm going to ride on board with him for a couple of corners to see how much understeer he's got. He looks not too bad, but I don't know.
Yeah, but you could clearly see it showing that certainly an end plate. I'm gonna get a good camera shot here.
Oh yeah, no,
yeah,
he doesn't have.
Is gone.
Yeah, he doesn't have much in the way of turning potential at all. So Ocean, it was such a good drive, and it still has been such a good drive. But it does look now like he's going to fall off the back of Slash LP. And,
yeah, it wasn't my fault. Chat jinx you. Feel bad, Chat. Feel bad.
Is he going to stay out? He is going to stay out, so it's obviously not bad enough for him to want to change the front wing. He would lose probably about 30 seconds or so if he were to do that. Probably not worth it with 8 laps to go.
Yeah. What I was
Meanwhile,
about to say, if
sorry,
I
go on.
was Slash, I would feel a bit, fooled because he's been in a good position, and I mean, I think he's made some mistakes, but everyone behind him has retired. Now it looks very unimpressive, I've gotta say. P7 in a race with 9 runners is not as impressive as like P8 in a race with 16 runners. So rest in peace, Slash.
Well, it's 16 starters though, so we had several people knock themselves out of the race with their own incidents.
True. And he hasn't, so
Yeah,
he's got that
absolutely.
going for him. I mean, it doesn't make the drive less impressive, it just, like, on paper, it doesn't look as good. That's
Yeah.
maybe that's just me.
No, I think that's
Probably.
that's absolutely right. It does put a little bit of a dampener on it, but still an impressive drive nonetheless. He's going to get some very well-deserved points from this race. So, by the way, is Furious, who we've seen a few times have some issues and incidents in this race, but he's always kept going through it, and he's going to get his reward here. He's going to get some points, which it's been a very creditable performance from him. This is why you should never give up in
Look, Tipsy,
SLR.
that could have been you. If only your team wasn't very bad on tire strategy.
Yeah. So up front, let's take a little bit of stock of this race. We've got 6.5 laps or thereabouts to go. Light Cruiser is well, we've had the dank puns, haven't we? Light Cruiser is definitely cruising in this race. He is 15 seconds ahead of Danny. Bailey has not managed to make any inroads at all, basically, into their lead. Looks like they are going to stay the distance on intermediates rather than go for the wet tyres, as Pretorius has done. And NJJ, I think, is probably going to stay out on those inters as well. He's got a pretty significant gap before you get to Popo, who is P6. He had that one incident, of course. He was running very well in this race early on. He's still going to get some good points. As we have some yellow flags. Furious has crashed, unfortunately. He's, I think, lost a bunch more of his front wing. He crashed in the right-hander at the end of the lap. So I think he's going to be
very
upset.
Can you think of anything else?
No,
I can't,
I'm afraid.
But I've got an excuse.
He's going to be mad. He's going to be outraged at the situation.
He's going to be very wütend. He's going to be very Fuchsteufelswild.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more.
That's a great word, by the way. It translates into Fox Devil's Wild.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Of course, you say that 44 times every day. It's a very common term.
Absolutely.
Say that every day. Anyway, I must say, Light Cruiser in the first stint didn't look too good on pace. I mean, he wasn't hard, so it was hard to judge and stuff. But since the switch on to the intermediates has taken place, he's just like gained 1 second, or I think it's been 15 seconds, then he's dropped 1 second to Danny over 14, over like 7 laps, and now he's gained it back over the next 7 laps. So it's a very consistent drive from him, and he doesn't look like he's falling off even a little bit. Bailey Thompson has been very impressive in the dry, is only impressive in the rain. And he is still 9 seconds or 10 seconds behind Danny Coe. Nothing moving with the gaps there.
Yeah, no, I think we're set from now to the end of the race. Nobody really with any incentive to push anymore. But as I said, there's plenty of time yet for stuff to happen. Light Cruiser coming around to start lap number 27. He has 5 laps to go in this mammoth Singapore Grand Prix. It has been a marathon in SLR Tier 1. Got Light Cruiser with the one-stop strategy. Started on the hard tyres and got the pit timing right, crucially, where Bailey Thompson unfortunately didn't. Down the back straight he goes. 14 seconds behind is this man here, Danny, who's had a couple of very good performances recently, and this has been another one. He was on for a very good finish in Spa before he crashed. towards the end of the race, unfortunately. Tangled with Pretorius, and then Astro Boys finished him off. But in Singapore, he has been very, very good indeed. He was running with the lead pack behind Bailey in the first stint of the race, and he was another one who got the timing of the pit stop right. And because of that, he's come out in second place, and that is a really impressive performance from Danny, who just needs to keep it on the straight and narrow now. And here is Bailey, had to go over the bridge himself. And Bailey was certainly the class of the field in the dry, but in the wet, as Thimo said, he's merely been fast.
Good.
Yeah, he's merely been fast. He's not been lightning fast. But in any case, he's going to get himself a podium for it. 24 seconds ahead of Pretorius. Pretorius is on the wet weather tyres, and he is gaining several seconds a lap, but I don't think he's gaining quickly enough to think about challenging Bailey for that third place.
I enjoy the ambiguity between the tyres, though. I mean, it's not until now the wet is like 2 seconds a lap quicker, but it wasn't clear how this is gonna develop, and that's why we have 4 drivers on wet tyres and 5 drivers on intermediates.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
just
going to note these lap times. Bailey's going to cross the line. He's going to do a 2-minute 1.7. And I'm just going to look at Pretorius when he comes across the line.
2 or 3 seconds quicker, judging by the last laps, because I just compared them.
Okay.
I think another movement, and basically the only movement that could happen before the end of this race, is maybe Slash will actually get in distance for Popo Gamer. So he's gonna probably be, if you take the normal pace difference between wets and inters from Bailey and Pretorius, he's gonna be in striking distance in 3 laps, and I rate the overtake difficulty a full red out of 10.
Yeah, it's Singapore. It's not going to be easy. Yeah, absolutely. 3.4 seconds, by the way, was how much faster Pretorius was on that lap than Bailey, which still isn't enough, but is perhaps more than we thought. There are 4 laps to go as Slash sinks into the ground in Singapore. Must be very wet, or he's just lagging, one or the other. Through he goes as Furious was lapped by Popo a second ago. Popo on the intermediate tyres. He's going to be pushing as hard as he can to try and stay ahead of Slash. He's still got 4 laps to go.
Am I wrong, or was Furious pretty competitive in Monza?
I don't remember, honestly. He wasn't at the front, but he was. I think he was solidly in the midfield.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I seem to remember that. And yeah, I mean, I think that's been true here as well. He's just had a couple of incidents, or more than a couple of incidents that have...
a dozen incidents?
Yeah,
what?
quite a few. that have led to him being essentially a lap down on everyone in this race. And as I've said, he's stuck with it, and he is going to get himself some points for it as well. Slash really struggling to close the gap now on Popo. 4 seconds is the gap, and that is going to be, I think, the last battle that we have in this race. Popo is cruising up to the back of NJJ as well, but not quickly enough, I think. I don't know whether something happened to Slash. He's very cautious there, going over the Anderson Bridge. Maybe just because he is being cautious. Just bringing it home, which is very sensible. He is gaining, though. And Popo now has got... Well, the thing is, Popo's got Furious on the back of him, and Furious is on the wet tyres. So, I just wonder... And we don't know what the penalty situation is between those two either, Popo and Slash. So maybe we'll check up on that. As we now have 3 laps to go. And the gap is 3.6 seconds, 3.9 seconds now. Just ebbs and flows as one driver or the other makes a mistake. Slash very sideways.
Oh, Slash,
oh no!
Slash!
What happened there?
No!
Oh, I guess he just lost it on traction. Well, that's the end of Slash's challenge for P6. Unfortunately, he's Not lost a wheel or anything like that, but he has lost a chunk of his front wing, so he's going to be limping home.
That's actually sad. Play Despacito. This is so sad. Terror, play Despacito. Anyway, OceanChief. I don't think OceanChief was quick enough to close in on Slush after this.
No, but well, OceanChief is damaged as well, so I think it'll be a tall order for him. Popo though is catching NJJ pretty quickly. Hadn't realised quite how quickly, but the gap now 4.5 seconds. You can just see the McLaren disappearing around the left-hander in the distance there. And again, up the road. So Popo doing his best to make the end of this race as interesting as he can and get himself a top 5 for it. It's been a very good drive from NJJ as well, we should note that. Got himself a P5 for it. Popo, though, hunting him down. Oh, outbraked himself, though. Oh, it's Furious, yeah, in the background. Unfortunately, into the wall again.
Yeah.
And he'll be aggravated by his incident.
I must say, I am very confident that this is the race with the biggest gaps between drivers we've had in SLR history. There's 11, 11, 19, 44, 4, 13, 10, too much. 68.
Yeah, it's definitely some big gaps. So it's the longest race of the year in terms of distance, and of course it's wet as well, or in terms of time rather.
108, not 68.
Okay. But yeah, 2 laps to go. Danny is closing on Light Cruiser, but obviously not quickly enough. That's Furious.
Popo's closing on NJJ, but the race is too short for that, I'm afraid. And he's got 2 laps. I mean, I think he's 1.5 seconds quicker, but I don't think he'll get...
Yeah, something like that. He's certainly going to be making NJJ nervous, and that is...
yeah.
You know, when you do that, when you can do that, then good things tend to happen. NJJ just has to keep his cool for these last couple of laps. Light Cruiser has noticeably slowed down. He's only 10 seconds ahead of Danny now, but it's not going to matter because he's just started his last lap.
Yeah. Light Cruiser is just lightly cruising. I'm going to not hell, but into retirement from commentary for that joke. And Popo has already gained 1.5 seconds. I think he'll actually have a shot next race. He'll definitely be on the back when they next race. When is your power spike going to be? Next game. Well, he's gonna be on the back. Oh, back of NJJ.
Yeah, I mean, I think we definitely are going to have a battle here between these two, because I imagine the Inters are really struggling at this point. They're going to be worn as well as not terribly grippy, although I think we're back to light rain now. I think the heavy rain period has passed. But yeah, Popo doing everything he can to try and get in range by the DRS straight. It's going to be difficult though. NJJ though, making a little bit of a mistake there. Maybe not enough of one. And again running wide, so NJJ really going to be struggling. I'm going to keep an eye on where Light Cruiser is so we don't miss him crossing the line. But for the time being, I'm going to go on board here with Popo and see if he can grab this 5th place.
It's going to be interesting. He has to get good acceleration out of here, and he's put it in highest DRS mode. And let's see if he can.
The Light Cruiser crosses the line to win. But
yeah, great drive from him. Absolutely played everyone on strategy. And OceanChief is already...
Yep, he was a lap down.
For P8.
Oh, NJJ having to defend.
Oh, NJJ very... Yeah, he absolutely parked the bus on the apex there. I actually don't know about the penalty situation. No, Pope has at least 1, maybe 2. Don't know about NJJ at all. I feel like he has got less. Don't know though. And there is no real overtaking opportunity, but there's he's so much quicker.
There will be out of the hairpin. That's where he's got to be close, and that's where he's got to get the power down as quickly as he possibly can.
already looks close. Let's see. Yeah, he'll get the white line here, and he'll get an actual racing line.
Oh, NJJ with the
actively
big
defends.
brain, though. Yeah, that was very nicely done. He did park it on the apex and didn't run wide, so he couldn't get the undercut. And now
Yeah,
NJJ,
played
again,
that well.
putting it in the middle of the road. And Popo, there's just no space. Popo needs to find the traction.
Yeah, I was about to say, maybe now on the outside, NJJ, if he can keep it tight here. And now Popo has the easy opportunity to get alongside, but it's just not there. And now if NJJ, please don't squeeze him. Okay, Popo has to brake because that would end in tears. NJJ very well. NJJ has placed his car very well over the last lap now. And there's gonna be 3 corners to go. For Popo Gamer and NJJ, and I don't think Popo has got.
Well,
his
NJJ is going to be
penalties
struggling
alongside
in the last corner, but yeah, he's going to get it on the road at least, and NJJ crosses the line, and and the penalty situation was that Popo didn't actually need to pass him, and he gets the 5th place anyway.
As we watch Slash driving towards the end, I really thought, like, in the hairpin,
Slash! Oh,
great
no.
Yeah, I thought, I mean, this is easy for Popo, he's so close, and he's getting such a good line, but then NJJ just wouldn't go, and I was like, what is NJJ doing? And then I realized, oh, he's actively blocking him, that's big brain. So,
yeah.
I mean, even though it's kind of mean, it's totally allowed, and it worked.
Yeah, no, it was very good defensive driving from NJJ, but didn't count for anything in the end because of the penalty situation. But Light Cruiser with a fantastic drive to win the race. Are we going to get to see the results? I hope we are. Yeah, we are. There we go. So 3 seconds of penalties for everyone in the top 3 and in the top most drivers in the top 7. But Light Cruiser winning. Danny second. It's been a little while coming for Danny, this performance, but he has made it count today. It was a very, very good drive. Bailey finishing 3rd after, well, I mean, it says something about a driver when you know he's going to be disappointed with the 3rd place here, because he will probably feel he could have won this race, but
and he could have. I mean,
yeah, but the strategy didn't work out for him.
Yeah. In the end, it was Light Cruiser, and also, I mean, it wasn't that it was beyond the realms of possibility. I feel like Bailey could have gone further with the mediums, but he was just like kind of pressured into covering off the undercut by the others, maybe, because everyone else pitted, and the undercut is really strong here. Even though he had like 5 seconds of a gap or 6, maybe he still felt threatened and thought, okay, I'm gonna pit here. But then, like 2 or 3 laps later, the rain started to set in, so he could have had that. I'm sure he's gonna be disappointed with that one. Still a great drive, I must say. But Light Cruiser, fantastic win.
Yep, Light Cruiser, fantastic win. And speaking of Light Cruiser, let's have a chat with him, because it was a brilliant, brilliant drive, Light Cruiser. It was that planned that you'd start on the hard tires and wait for the rain? What was your thinking going into this race?
Well, you can kind of say it was planned, because I saw the rain on the end of the weather predictions, and it was heavy rain in 45 minutes, but you should know that light rain comes before heavy rain. So at 30 minutes it might rain, and the hards pulled it off.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a really, really good drive. In terms of those first few laps, I mean, could you believe, like, those couple of laps around the pit stops, that it all just fell into your lap so beautifully?
I only saw it when I gained so much time, when I did a lap earlier than the others. Because I was already overtaking them when they entered the pit lane.
Yeah,
so
and
gained like 20 seconds there.
Yeah, and Bailey I think spun on the entry to the pit lane as well, which made it difficult.
Yeah, but didn't he like rejoin from the track into the pit lane?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Well, that's a penalty for him then.
Yeah, I don't know what the I don't know whether that's something that whether that's a rules thing. I think the game let him get away with it at least. I'm just gonna try and boost your volume a little bit, because apparently you're quite low.
Oh dear.
So you're already at max. Okay. Oh well, we'll do the best we can. You might have to turn your volumes up on the YouTube end. Sorry, guys. But yeah, yeah, I mean those sort of two laps. I mean, how late was the call that you made to pit? Because we didn't see exactly when the DRS got disabled, but it looked like it was getting pretty treacherous. So did you make the call before the DRS disabled notice?
Yes, because on the lap it started raining. I already noticed the track became shiny from rain, and so many others there. So I went to the box straight away, and that's a good call.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely a good call. So yeah, is it first win of the season? It must be.
It's my first ever Tier 1 win.
Your first ever Tier 1 win, fantastic. So
congrats then.
yeah, congratulations,
More.
fantastic performance.
Yeah.
Shame about all the rage quitters though.
Well, there was a lot of incident in that race. Let's put it that way. It was it was certainly a race of attrition, and we only ended up having 9 finishers. So yeah, it was a rough one.
You see now, if you stay, you could get points, like P6 or something, because
Yep.
everyone made mistakes.
Exactly.
That's why you shouldn't rage quit.
Lots of people did make mistakes.
When Furious finished like 2 minutes behind the guy ahead of him, but he's getting 2 points, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He spun like 10 times in a race. Right?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, probably about 10
Even
times.
though it wouldn't have worked hadn't everyone rage quit. So.
Yeah, but no, there were some people who I think frustration got the better of them in the race, unfortunately, and they decided to retire.
Like think of Benz. He could have. I mean, he could have gone on and got. I mean, not a good result, but a decent result. Tipsy could have been around where OceanChief was had he not done interesting strategy things. It pays off. It tends to pay off to to keep going.
Yeah.
And everyone who did it got rewarded, I think, even though the field was very spread out.
I didn't even see Benz because his black car merged with the black wall. So I only noticed him like 2 tenths before the corner.
Yeah, he. Well, I think he. Yeah, because
my teammate nearly hit him.
Oh like, dear.
That close.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, it was. Well, it's difficult to see in the night in any case. But yeah, it was a frustrating one for Bance. He basically got punted. It was unfortunate.
I didn't see what happened. But
yeah, he got ran by Danny.
Yeah, these things may happen. It's a little bit unfortunate, but there we go. Thanks for joining us, Light Cruiser, and congratulations on the win. It was a really, really good drive. Let's bring in one of the other podium finishers today, Bailey Thompson, who, I mean, we're so accustomed to incredible performances from you, Bailey, that today sort of feels a little bit like, it almost feels like a disappointment, even though you got a very good third place and drove very well, particularly in the first half of the race. How do you feel about it?
Bittersweet. I think, well, Speed retired, so it's 15 points to gain, but could have been 25. Yeah,
no, it's absolutely right, and I think that is a good way of looking at it. You certainly had the pace. I mean, we know you had pace around Singapore. You certainly had it in the first few laps of the race. What was your thinking? I mean, were you conscious of the fact that, well, obviously you were conscious of the fact that the rain was coming, but what was the thinking behind that pit stop? Because it happened to me not very long ago as well, where I pitted, and then Hockenheim, and it had just started raining when I pitted and I put on the soft tires, and literally 2 laps later, DRS was disabled. So I guess a similar sort of thing happened today, Bailey, because it just got wet so quickly. I mean, presumably that caught you by surprise.
Yeah, I wanted to stay out on the medians, but I Speedy pitted, so I pitted, and I think that's crucial. That was what changed it.
So you tried to cover off the undercut then?
Yeah, okay. But I didn't think because I thought when the engineer was saying, right, rain 5 minutes, I pit. So I'm like, okay, there's like 5 minutes till rain, and usually there'll be like a couple laps in between. So it gives me some time to catch light cruiser because I know I had 18. It was like 18 seconds, I think the gap was. But then it just came, and then on the lap it came, it was ready for inters, and I think light cruiser just made a brilliant strategy call and paid off for him.
It certainly won in the race. It was definitely a risk because it was before it was ready. But yeah, that lap that you did on the medium tires, or the dry tires anyway, looked really painful. It was obviously definitely not the right tire for the conditions. You spun. We caught the spin in pit lane. Did you spin before that as well?
Yeah, the corner after the straight in the middle sector.
Oh,
I got
see.
on the curb, I spun and went back and took the apex backwards.
Oh dear. Okay.
So, but I didn't get any wing damage from it. Somehow I didn't touch the wall, so I was pretty lucky.
And we only caught the pit lane entry chaos, which was what happened there? I didn't quite see it. I don't know if the chaos.
I caught the curb on the outside and it just spun me.
Ow. Yeah, curves in the rain are pretty mean, I've gotta say.
Yeah, so, especially when you're on dry tires and it's soaking wet. So yeah, sorry, go on.
I was gonna say when like Speedy retired, I was trying to catch Danny, but he was a bit too quick in the wet. Like we were all running a quite similar place.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
throughout.
No, we definitely noticed that. Yeah, nobody was really able to make a move. Like Cruz and Johnny had really good pace in the rain.
Yeah, and then I saw Speedy retire. Pretorius paid for wet, so I just settled for third, knowing that if I get it, it's 15 points. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, 15 points, which is certainly well deserved. You go to, what do you go to? 172 championship points. You're 29 behind Speedy, which I guess you would certainly have taken at the start of the day, given that Speedy ended up DNFing. And thanks, by the way, to Dead Pixel for getting those standings up so quickly.
Yeah, shout out, that was really quick. I can't do that. Even if I have a good race, I don't do them that quickly.
But
how many people finished the race? Was it
9? Yeah, 9. Unfortunately, Furious was. It's certainly like we haven't given a driver of the day yet, but certainly an honourable mention goes to Furious for sticking with it for the whole race despite lots of incidents. That's what I
call stamina.
Absolutely. Got 2 points at the end of it as well, so props to Furious.
Yeah.
But yeah,
just keep going like that, and I think that's how you improve.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you don't improve by rage quitting, unfortunately. You only improve by keeping it on the track and trying to drive around it. So 29 points is the gap between you and Speedy. You got Suzuka next. How are you feeling about that one? 5 rounds to go, 6 rounds to go, something like that.
Isn't it Russia next?
Oh,
it's
it is Russia
next.
Russia next. It is Russia next. I always forget about Russia. I try not to think about Russia. I managed to succeed in not thinking about it, but yeah, it is Russia next. So yeah, how are you feeling about Russia?
I haven't done any laps around Russia around this game.
Okay, I don't blame you.
So, I mean, in the past it's been good for me. I remember a while in AOR F3, I started like P13 and then came 4th. So I guess it's been a good track for me in the past. So.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of those tracks because I don't think tire wear is a thing basically at all. So it'll be
easy one.
It'll be very easy, soft to medium. I would have thought.
Maybe soft to hard.
Oh, soft to hard. Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I think now's the time where I'm trying to get cocky statements out of you. There's 6 races to go, I think. So considering you're only 29 points behind Speedy, how do you feel about the championship challenge? Do you think you will be able to take it, or is it more like are you going more race to race, or are you looking at the bigger picture and just trying to get him in the standings? Like, what's your mindset?
I don't really know.
Well, that's good as well.
I see, I see the
Seems to work.
points is 29, but I just need like I don't see closing it. So that's I guess the next couple of races, I suppose, and then I think in the final round, like 3 rounds, where we'll see where each of us are, and then I think we can go off that.
Okay.
Makes perfect sense. So thanks for joining us, Bailey, and good drive to third place. It was a recovery drive in the end, but yeah, good stuff. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
Alright, see you next week.
All right, so let's. Should we bring in the? Well, we've got the all Irish duo waiting as
Oh.
well.
I think before we do, and now it's too late.
Oh, sorry.
Before we do that, I think we should have decided on a driver of the day. But I feel like my pick is pretty obvious.
Pretty easy.
I mean, it's going to be Tipsy, isn't it? I mean, there's
It's
no,
obviously going to be the guy who sits at the weather radar at Mercedes. I mean, that guy. That guy has like he must be an even better negotiator than Roman Grosjean's manager, because Grosjean's manager convinced Haas to keep Grosjean, but Mercedes weatherman convinced everyone that it was dry while they were drowning standing in the pit lane. So, I mean, that guy, wow.
What do you mean that guy? I'm right here. Timo, you talking to me as the right person. I think, you know what? I think you're bang on correct with that driver of the day. I would have given that guy driver of the day. Because Mr. Night Cruiser in the chat was kind of worried in case I was going to take him out, and he needs to trust me. He needs to trust me.
I wouldn't trust you either.
What do you mean you wouldn't trust me? Are you forgetting in the early seasons of 2SRL how many times you killed me?
No, it wasn't in the early seasons. I killed you like 3 times in season 4, and that's it.
Here we are. At least you admit it. I didn't kill you.
You did, I'm pretty sure at some point you did.
Tipsy. First of all, I guess before we talk about the race, let's talk about more important things. How is your nose?
I tell you. And I need to calm down here because I'll swear whenever I get into my banter talk, right? But listen, what was it? I was talking to Kitty. I leaned back and I was talking to Kitty, and she just literally punched me in the face. I'm serious. Just the whole arm got bang, smack in the face. Like, she says I'm exaggerating. The blood pissing everywhere all over my steering wheel, and my hands are slipping on the steering wheel. Tell you.
Oh no.
She came in and asked me, how's my nose? And I told her it's an excruciating pain, and I think a cup of tea would probably make it feel better. But she just says I'm such a D, a D-I-C. But I thought that look, it's considering because it's Singapore, and we all know who is the OP driver in Singapore, that I would join it. But then I thought, you know what, I need to give everyone a chance here. I can't just blast, because if you remember, Tara, you would remember the time I went from last to second in Singapore, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So I thought I'll not humiliate them too much. I'll just kind of hang back here. And then I did kind of what you did, what you tried to do in Belgium. I accidentally ran deep in the hairpin. Remember?
I accidentally put on wet tires.
And then you did it 22 more times.
Yeah. Yeah, so I thought, oh no, I need to make this look like I actually am struggling. So then I hit the wall twice. And then somehow, for some reason, I got the wrong tires on twice. I don't know how that happened, but I was saying in the chat there, I didn't get in anyone's way because, as Thimo correctly said, I am very used to people passing me, lapping me. So, no one was affected, and it'll not happen again. So, yeah.
Did Kitsune snitch the crap talk or what?
Did she what?
Did she snitch that I was shit talking you?
You're not allowed to swear, Timo. You thought you'd been
That's
a bit more
not swearing.
professional. Excuse me, I'm thinking pretty sure it is.
No.
As long as you don't say crap.
As long as you say crap or hell.
I won't say crap, you twant. Anyway.
Listen, Timo, I would have thought with you having experience with Mr. Terra and Mr. Nee, that you would have learned something by now in these streams, but clearly not. You're clearly not paying attention.
I think you're just distracting from that you have experience in being lapped, and then you're trying to change the topic of the conversation. But fine, you do you, man.
If that's the case, I wouldn't have got driver of the day because you all recognize the talent that was on display today.
our director has just come in. I think driver of the day is Light Cruise. I'm sorry, you were too rude.
Well,
that
look,
would be my pick.
right. Well, look, if you had to push me, if you really had to push me and consider who would I give the second person to be the driver of the day, it probably would have been Light Cruiser. Yes, he would have been my second pick.
Tara, what's your second pick?
I'll go with Light Cruiser as well. I think I think if it wasn't a first time winner that that hadn't won before, I think I would also be looking at Danny, who had a fantastic race. But yeah, I think Light Cruiser just pips it.
Behind Tipsy, yeah.
Behind Tipsy, obviously, yeah.
Oh, by a good
Goes without
margin
saying.
behind.
Yeah. So you guys had a pretty good battle in the first few laps. Ocean, how does it feel to be the confirmed best driver in Ireland?
Cursed is I was about to consider him, and then no, he crashed.
Can we just point out something that I didn't have any practice or any setup?
Oh dear.
Yeah, next time practice and get a setup.
Yes, and the only thing is that I only realised once I eventually retired, I thought it would just be fair if I retired. I don't want to hog you into Free Chief, right? But I thought it would be only fair that I better retire here because, you know, I've pushed my luck far enough. It's only whenever I started to watch the stream back that I hear Thimo saying, oh, apparently even if you join qualifying late, you can get a setup. Well, if I had known that,
well,
I was
I'm
on my
pretty sure you can.
wings.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah, well
most times I saw you weren't right.
Yeah.
You know.
you unfortunately cut off there, but yeah, we got the joke.
Oh!
You weren't driving with wings anyway for most of the race. Yeah, that's.
Thank you.
But to be fair, me and Tipsy were talking, and the initial stint, he did catch me at one point, and I was just asking him what I was in. You were about to pass me, and then I pretty much conceded that it was game over, and then you just backed out of the move.
Yes,
So,
you see, I am very fair, you see. And I was thinking to myself, look, I came out of nowhere. I just decided I'm going to join because, I don't know, I'm royalty, so I'm allowed to do those things. I just joined randomly with no reservation or nothing and thought, right, I'm going to have a bit of fun here. But I didn't want to damage anyone's race. That was my major thing. I think you might have seen it. Hopefully you've seen in the stream, whenever someone caught up behind me, like Pretorius or Danny, I just let them go. I'm not going to fight them. You know, I don't want to damage or impact someone's race. So I was kind of having fun keeping up with you, Chief, and kind of showing you, just let you know, boy, I can pass you if I want. It was pretty much that. And then just whenever I had the move pretty much done, I backed out and let you go. I had to put you back in your mental place.
You were just T-posing.
Yeah, just let him know. Just let him know. Just remind him. I just had to reenact that moment up in the cart, and I had to reenact that moment again. But this time, except I actually let you go.
You're so kind. You're so kind.
I'm telling you, man. Where would you get people like me?
Too kind, man. It's just a pity you didn't finish the race.
Well, but I mean, I've already look. I'm not gonna extend. I've already explained why I didn't finish the race. I did it out of sympathy for everyone else.
Okay.
That's why I don't win because
It's all fine.
We need to give people the
good.
chance.
Oh, it's okay, Tips. It's okay. You don't have to explain yourself.
Timo,
It's fine, man. We don't.
Timo?
Yeah, it's okay.
Timo,
Yeah, calm down, man. Calm down.
Timo, you listen to your elders, okay? You're still a child, okay? Listen. Even Tara experienced it whenever it was in Canada. I was on Tara's ring piece. I was gonna clean him out, and then what did he do? He took me out. So I thought, fair enough. So I backed
Ocean, can you say anything to Tipsy so he can listen to his elders?
I have the authority here, do I?
You do.
I outweigh everyone. I've like your combined age doubled.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, you do. Yeah.
No, but I mean, like Tipsy, like if I could just get a word in edgeways.
Certainly, I mean, I'm not the one for interrupting people. I wouldn't do something I would do, like Chief.
No, like it was a really tense race for me personally because you know it's Singapore and I had Tipsy all over my rear and I was saying to the guys, the crew chiefs, I was like, he's had no practice, but these are practice laps for him. So every lap that he's behind me he's getting faster, and it was true. He eventually caught up with me.
It's basically Terra in Assetto Corsa.
But I also had the thought that Tipsy isn't great in the wet, and I knew as soon as the rain came down, it would be game over. And honestly, like if you watch back my stream, it was like, I was like, Tipsy's not good in the wet. So as long as I can get to the wet part of the race, I'm good. And then the wet part of the race came, and then you died, and then I was like, okay, there's all this rain, and I can't drive this car normally. I'm kind of going backwards at this point, so it was just like damage limitation and just trying to. Yeah, there wasn't too many people crashed out after that. It was funny because in the dry there was more kind of incidents, and then the wet came and it was just Splash on the last lap crashed. But yeah, it wasn't really very exciting when the rain came. It was just a case of like getting the car around each corner and trying not to die.
Yeah, it's always difficult. I mean, somewhere like Singapore in the rain is just is a complete nightmare. It's always a bit like
It's
that.
tense. It's very tense. Like, and I'm just kind of coming down from that now. I'm just a bit like hyped up. You know, I need to go and get a cup of tea and I'll lie down. I can't take this anymore.
Yeah, it's hard work. Singapore in the dry is hard work. Singapore in the wet is very hard work indeed. We've also got Icewind in here, who's been very patient, waiting for his moment to speak. And
Well, there really isn't all that much to say.
you
It
had
doesn't sound like he wants to.
you. Oh, what's up, Tipsy? What's up?
Yeah, sorry, just did anyone else notice how cold-hearted Chief is and something he said? He just said Tipsy died. Oh, and then it started to rain. I mean, where's the compassion there?
Oh.
But it is true. I am rubbish in the wet and I'm rubbish in the dry too. Go ahead, Gloomy.
So yeah, Icewind, you I mean, it's tempting to sort of see this as a preview for tomorrow, in the sense that, you know, you've got the crashes out of your way today, and you're gonna drive a completely flawless, fantastic race and win tomorrow. Is that how you're seeing it?
No, but well, I don't know. At the moment, I'm really feeling quite depressed about all of this. But yeah, first of all, I kind of lost my motivation where we had an incident with Triton, which I think looked like a lot of desync involved in there, because I somehow caught his rear end on the straight, and I even lifted before we somehow caught up together. So yeah, and that was it pretty much for me. I still was on for points after that, but then I don't know. My heart wasn't in it, and I spun under the bridge chicane and got stuck there, and yeah, that was pretty much it.
Yeah, Singapore in the dry isn't easy. Singapore in the wet is very, very difficult though. That's had you done any wet practice or anything like that?
Not really, no, but I'm not gonna go behind that. It's just terrible racing from me today. Nothing more to it. At least somebody is scoring points for us in the Alfa Romeo. Chief is
Chief
doing that.
Chief did a great drive. Gets himself 4 points, which is gonna help the championship. But yeah, I mean, it does tend to happen. I mean, are you racing tomorrow in 2SRL?
I don't know. After this, I have to see.
Oh, he will. Don't worry.
Have to.
He will.
This is the same nonsense that you get from Icewind all the time. Oh, don't know if I'm gonna race tomorrow. I had a terrible. And then the next race he races and he wins.
Yeah.
Point out one race where I've won.
Next race he's on the podium. Correction, epic
I don't
save.
think I've won a single race ever.
Well, certainly twice you've been twice you finished second, and once you finished third. And I think all of those times have been after races where you've struggled in SLR. So it does tend to happen like that. It's a funny pattern.
I mean, look at us. Look at me and Chief. Icewind, we haven't give up.
There's
Yeah.
hope, Ice. There's hope, Ice. But here, I would say, you know, like.
But sorry to Triton anyway, because it effectively ruined his race as well. Even if I don't think it was either of ours fault. It was lag. That's what it looked like to me anyway.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate.
I was just going to say, sorry if I get interrupted. I was just going to say that Ice is one of these guys that, you know, as we know, he doesn't believe in himself. And I think Tipsy, you're the same, man. You're like, you kind of like joke that you're the best or whatever, but you know, you really, when you talk about it, you'll say, oh, I'm not that great. But I actually think Tipsy is really super fast. Like, you know, he's one of the faster guys in the league. Like, he's maybe not top 3, but he's probably top 6. you know, I would say, like on his day. And yeah, like I know we joke about it and stuff and take the piss out of each other, but I really like Icewind. I think he's like a top 3 guy, but I think Tipsy, like you're like on your day, you're I would say top 6, like top 5, and that's like against some of the guys we're racing against, that's pretty epic, you know.
Well, yeah, like you say, I do mess about saying, you know, but I do think I'm pretty crap. But compared to this, certainly compared to
Don't
most
you say
guys-
crap!
I was gonna say shit. At least I'm saying crap. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I mean, earlier on in the early seasons, like I was always up in the top 5, even on the final standings. Like, but the way I'm trying to put it is that I haven't gotten but worse. I just think everyone else is just better. I think that's all it is.
Yeah,
I think it's
I mean,
time.
that's certainly
It's
true. But also, I mean, you definitely have your moments. I mean, the 2 SRL race in Canada, like you were legitimately faster than me in that race.
But that was the one I practiced like hell on.
That's what I was gonna say. Like time is like a big thing. Like a lot of these people we're racing against are like grinding these tracks out, and then you show up and you put on a really solid performance. You know, I think it's
Yeah, that's
all
true.
relative. You know.
I mean, is Singapore tomorrow as well?
Yeah, it is.
Well, I mean, today was the only bit of practice I've done, so I'll try and get a bit more practice in tomorrow and see how it goes.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, it should be good. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it a lot tomorrow. I think it'll be a fun race.
Yeah.
Please no rain. No rain.
But that's what I suppose that's a good thing to point out, Chief. That if anyone is listening to me and think this guy's such a, can I say twat? Can I say twat? I
It's
think I
only
can
me thinks that. It's only me
say
thinks that.
twat. I think I can. Can I?
You just said it
I
twice.
don't
so
think you can, but now it's
Nothing's
too late.
happened
Okay.
yet.
This guy's such a, you know what? But honestly, don't be taking me seriously. Anyone who is listening, don't take me seriously because I know these guys don't anyway. So nothing I say is intended to be serious. Like something, if I said something like "Chief is fast," you know what I
That
mean?
means you're. If you say that, that means what you just said isn't you being serious either. So that's some kind of like weird quandary.
Well, that's a bit like that thing whenever you say, "If a compulsive liar tells you he's lying,
Yeah.
do you believe him?"
Exactly.
But it's true. Tara, Mr. Oxford, if a compulsive liar tells you he's lying, do you believe him?
I don't know. It's a tough one. I think you, yeah, don't know. Well, I guess if you know he's a compulsive liar, and
Yeah.
then you know he must be lying. But if he tells you he's a compulsive liar, and he's lying, then yeah, I don't know.
I guess
It's,
the real question is a compulsive liar capable of changing? Because they may change, and then that's the point where they're not lying, but you think they're lying because they always lie.
Dude, this is too. Oh my
This is
god.
deep, man. This is
This
deep.
is too intellectual for you.
truly
I am
intellectual
I am
conversation.
12 and this is deep.
Not the stream.
I mean,
Yeah, we
I
should
can
probably
talk
should.
all night with you if you want. I have no issue.
I
It's
think
just a question of whether you do too, and does everyone else either?
I think we should. I think we should probably bring the stream to a close. It's been a lot of fun. These post race chats
smack
always
talk.
are. Yeah. But these post race chats are always fun. But yeah, we need to. I think we need to wrap this one
Wrap
up.
it
It's
up,
been
yeah.
a lot of fun. A fun race today. We had 9 finishes. We had 16 starters. That's pretty much how the Singapore race went. There was rain. There was incident. There was drama. There was Chief getting points. It was there was everything.
Very unlikely things.
Yeah,
Oh.
everything.
Yeah, not
you
point,
want.
points.
Points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where did Chief finish?
You finished 8th.
So he's moving up in the world. He really
Good.
is. Because I said that yesterday, the other stream. 1 minute he was 10th, now he's 9th, now he's 8th.
Yeah, that's true.
Chief
So
is the social climber.
in 8 races time, he'll be on the top step of the podium. But now he'll have to
Alternate
settle for
reality.
8th. But yeah, thanks for joining us, guys, and thank you everybody for watching. We got 2 SRL tomorrow. I don't know if that'll be live or if it'll be recorded. We're hoping it's going to be live here on EGL, but if not, then be sure to catch the recording of that one, and of course join us next week as well, where we have Sochi for some reason in SLR. and then in 2 SRL as well. But join us for that. Sorry,
That's a
Timo.
week to get drunk again and race day.
Maybe,
So-
maybe a week to get drunk and do the stream. Who knows? It'll be an interesting experience. But yeah, join us for that one. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next time.